Censorship is a common thing in modern-day shows. Even our favorite show, Bluey, has to deal with censorship. Bluey, the show that teaches us great things about life, parenthood, and happiness in such an original and fresh way, has become beloved by many. However, being the extensive show that it is, Bluey undergoes a lot of testing to ensure that every episode delivers the wanted message. Unfortunately, sometimes this is not the case, and certain episodes end up not fitting well with the narrative or storyline of the show, leading to their censorship. And in today's video, we're going to see some of the episodes that never made it into the real Bluey, and you never got to see until now. So, let's dive right into the video. In this episode, everyone is celebrating Muffin's birthday, and it was here that we saw the adorable pony dressed as a unicorn again. But the unicorn wasn't always quite adorable, as we see in the other episodes. Because in some shots, we can see him with a pile of poo right behind him, and apparently, of course, Disney didn't like this joke, so they decided to scrap those poo shots, not only in the United States version, but also in the Spanish version. I don't see how this scene could affect the whole episode so much, and why Disney took it too seriously. But the most interesting part about all of this is that this pony right here seems to be the same exact pony as the one we saw in the episode The Market of Season 1. In the episode, we do have some pretty graphic poop scenes, which of course were also cut from Disney's version in both languages. Moving on to the next episode, Facey Talk. In this episode, Bluey and Bingo are excited to do Facey Talk with Muffin and Socks. And while Muffin is running away with the tablet, we can see on Trixie for a few seconds sitting in the bathroom doing her business, and apparently, this scene seemed too strong for Disney as well, because in the USA version of Disney+, this scene could not be seen. They decided to enlarge Muffin in the camera to prevent Trixie from appearing in the bathroom, but if we go to the Spanish version, we can see it. So, the Spanish people are lucky that in this episode, it's not censored, but in the USA version, if you go to Disney+, it's censored, and they focused the camera so she wouldn't come up in the bathroom. But without a doubt, the most censored and difficult to find episode of Bluey is Exercise. In Exercise, they practically decided to eliminate the entire episode, not only from Disney, but also from Ludo Studios. At the beginning of this episode, we could see Bandit brushing his teeth in the bathroom, and suddenly he decided to weigh himself, and he squeezed his stomach, giving us, of course, the impression that he has gained a few calories and added a few pounds to his weight. The problem was that this scene received many complaints from parents, demanding that these fragments be eliminated from the episode or the entirety of the season because it gave children a very bad outlook and idea about their body. At first, the studio removed the first minute of this episode, and this was the only episode that lasted 6 minutes instead of 7. But apparently, this was not enough for parents, and parents still complained to Disney, and in the end, Disney decided to completely remove the entirety of the episode. And we can't even see it now, and it's very, very difficult to find because it has been deleted from everywhere. Even little fragments from this episode are hard to find. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was a good idea to remove the entire episode and make it completely unavailable just for a few seconds, where parents thought it was inappropriate for kids to watch? Tell me what you guys think. The next episode, which was censored, was Perfect. The quote-unquote perfect episode, apparently, was not so perfect for Disney, since they had to censor a part of this episode. In the original version, Bandit is having an adult conversation with Fido's friend about closing their baby's factory. But in the Disney's version, they're having a conversation about removing teeth. What sense does it make if we go back to the scene and we listen to the dialogue? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. To be honest, to me, this change seems absurd. It would have been a lot better if they had just left the adult conversation scene. Extracting teeth is not just a normal action to be talking about out of nowhere. It just really doesn't make any sense. I think it would have been a lot better if they had left the adult conversation on without having to add this unnecessary and very odd conversation about extracting teeth. Not only this, later we can hear Bandit say that he might need them to bite someone someday. What without a doubt that behavior is much worse than a simple harmless talk about an adult conversation. This was completely unnecessary. The next censored scene is found in the episode Born Yesterday. Perhaps many of you will remember this episode for one of the many times in which Bandit suffered a great impact on one of his most sensitive parts. Well, Here he was hit by a swing right in the groin area. And you know what happened in the Disney version? This scene was cut right before the swing hit Bandit. Here we have the original version where we can see that Bandit is hit by the swing. And then if we go to Disney's version, it's eliminated. It cuts right before he gets hit by the swing and moves on to the next scene where they're walking. In the episode Driving, Bluey is playing with her stuffed animal Agatha, and apparently Disney did not like the threat that Agatha, Bluey's stuffed animal, makes to Chili. Well, she threatens to urinate on her curtains if Chili doesn't drive. In Disney's version, Agatha does not threaten Chili with peeing, but rather just scratching her curtains. Now, in this one, I can understand why Disney did not put it in because, to be honest, it's kind of inappropriate for a kids' show to be showing this kind of conversation. So I don't understand the previous ones or most of them, but this one makes a lot of sense. The next episode we're going to be seeing here is, in this episode, Bandit is being judged by Chili, and it seems like a pretty harmless family reunion episode. If we look at this episode in more depth, and especially in the United States version, not only they censored a single scene, but it also seemed like they censored the entire episode. It is very hard to find this episode in the United States. This is mainly because there was a lot of farts. Yes, just like you're hearing it, guys. Disney didn't like the fact that this episode had a lot of farts in it because in many parts of this episode, we see a lot of fart bombs, and Disney apparently didn't like this, and it found it completely inappropriate for children. The problem here is that Disney is very contradictory with its own shows, because Disney has a ton of shows where farts are not a problem, but suddenly, farts are a problem in Bluey. Does Disney make any sense? No. The last episode censored is found in the episode Explorers. In Explorers, when I saw the original episode for the first time, the censorship that was done seemed a little strange to me, because I couldn't understand why they did it. It didn't make any sense. In the beginning, when Jack stops at the strawberry field to ask for directions, he meets two dogs, one of which is Argentinian and the other one is French. But in the Disney's version, the French dog does not say that he's from France, but that the two are backpackers. It's a little confusing because when I saw these two dogs for the first time, I thought they were farm workers because it's quite common for people to travel from one country to another during the summer. Maybe Disney felt that it was a stereotype of summer workers, so they decided to change the dialogue to make them backpackers, instead of saying their nationality. What do you think? Do you think that Disney is taking this too far, where they're censoring the slightest bit of content that could be out of tune? Maybe the idea was that they were backpackers from the beginning, and Disney did this to set the record straight and didn't want the audience to be confused as to whether they're farm workers or something else, but just backpackers. So, this is all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, have fun.